It's Thursday again, it's Friday tomorrow, let's talk about some fishing. Well, it's been another busy week. We're all busy these days. It seems, I'm not the only one. Everyone's busy. So I had 1.5 days fishing last weekend. I had half a day at really fishing properly at Larford on Spessy Lake with Dad. I just use it as a bit of a recce, and it was a good excuse to stay down on Saturday night before we fished the match on Sunday. So that was a really nice session, and it was nice to be at a venue like that where you weren't actually fishing a match, where you could just have a walk around, have a good look at the venue, and have a chat to everybody. So that was good. Got a result on Sunday. Hopefully a lot of you saw the vlog for that last night at 6:30. If not, the link's below. It's only 7 minutes long. I will apologise to some of you because I know you were a little bit upset that there maybe wasn't as much content in that. I'm sure you all understand that results are everything for me, and I've got an important competition coming up down there in 2 weeks' time. It's the Silverfish Festival, and if there's one niggly thing that I have with a lot of anglers is that, even though events are important, a lot of people aren't willing to get down there and put the time in and practice on there. So I didn't want to be giving away any freebies of information to those that haven't been down there yet. It's obviously a very competitive match scene these days, and it's a 250-mile round trip for me to go down there, and I'm putting the time in, and so a lot of things have been edited out there, and the things that you do see there, if any of you are watching, it's stuff that I wanted you to see. I've been down there the last 2 weeks. I've qualified for 2 finals in 2 matches, and what I've been doing is working. So it might not work in the festival, it might be completely wrong, but I don't want to take any chances. But I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. And another thing that's come to fruition this week is another one leaves the fold at David Hall Publishing. I've thought a lot about the DHP publishing, especially Match Fishing magazine. It's something that really helped me get back into the sport in 2010, and it's a publication I've followed. And the lads there, Tom Scorley, who's obviously announced that he's going to be moving on this week to set up his own project, his own Catch More media company, which sounds very exciting. I'm really pleased for him on that. I really hope it goes well. Matt Godfrey already announced he's going to Guru, again another exciting opportunity. I think that's brilliant. 2 Sheffield lads. I've seen their career develop really. They were working at the or contributing for the Angling Star magazine years ago when I was, and it's been great to see their careers develop, and I hope the new ventures really pan out for them. Another positive spin-off from that is Joe Carrass being promoted to editor of Match Fishing magazine. Absolutely over the moon for him. I think the world of Joe. I think he's a great lad. He puts a lot of time and effort in, and he's certainly got to grips with the media side of publicising, and he's a cracking angler, and that's brilliant. And I'm really hoping that, we've already discussed it, I hope we're going to do a bit of a collaboration between his Match Fishing Films YouTube channel and this YouTube channel, and I think that could be some exciting little subjects to cover there, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, please watch out for that. Right, so I just thought I'd do some Q&As. The questions have been coming in again this week, and I will apologise a little bit that all the 3 of these are going to come from the tackle room, but that's just because I've just been that busy out on the bank, and as you know, daylight, we don't get much of it these days at this time of year, so it's been a bit limited after matches and stuff. So anyway, the first question was, some of you noticed that I occasionally switch bank sticks or rod rests during the competition. Basically, this is why. It really depends the way that I'm fishing. Sometimes if you're fishing a method feeder or you're sitting and waiting for bites, especially when you're bream fishing, sometimes you've got to put the rod down on the rest. I do this a lot, and I do like doing it, where you just put the rod down, you're sitting and waiting for bites, or you're making sure that bites have developed fully before you pick up, and that's when I put the rod down. Simple as that. In those kind of scenarios, I'll use a rod rest that is nice and easy to locate. It's generally got one position in it because it's always going to go in that one place. You don't have to think about it, and like I say, it's something that I do if I'm method feeder fishing or sitting and waiting for bream. On other occasions, where especially when we're speed fishing or we're fishing for small fish, or you need to be very, very responsive on the bites, that's when we tend to use larger rests like that one. I'm not sure what the length of this one is. I think this might be 60 centimetres. It's the Matrix one. I use this a lot. Places like Ireland, or when you've got the rod on your knee. And the reason for that is it makes location of putting the rod down very, very easy, very, very quick. So that when you're putting the rod down, you can place it anywhere on there. The other key benefit of this is you can slide your rod along it. What you can do is when you after you've cast in, if I'm casting in that direction, for example, when you cast in, you put your rod straight down. Obviously, if you want to take up the slack out of your line or your braid, you've got to turn the reel. Sometimes you can miss bites doing that, and it can be a little bit, not crude, but it can be jerky, if you want to use that term. With a rod rest like this, as soon as the feeder goes in, it hits the deck, you can put the rod down on the rest, and then you can simply, in order to take that slack out, you can simply just move the rod along it like that. That way it's a nice smooth transition as it's tightening up to your feeder, and that means you can see any indications along the way and hopefully pick up on them. So that's another key benefit. The other one is, if you're catching a lot of small fish or you're fishing for small fish, you know, there can be occasions when you're missing bites. You're always going to miss bites when you're speed fishing. So having something like this, as long as your feed is nicely balanced and it's not too heavy and it can move quite easy, what you can do is, once you've got the rod tip set, instead of just picking the rod up on bites, if you hook the fish, then brilliant, no problem. But if you miss the bite, the feeder's then about 2 meters away from your feed area, so then you tend to have to find you've got to reel in and cast out again. It becomes very inefficient. By using a rod rest like this, all you can do is you can simply move the rod to try and hook the fish, as long as you're nice and tight and the feeder moves easily, so that if you do miss the bite, you just move your tip like that, your rod, so it goes set to that position, for example, and you've missed the bite, the feeder is still over the feed area, so you get another go at it. And when you get good at it, as long as you're not too aggressive and the feed is nicely balanced, you could even use the full length of the rod rest and have 2, 3, even 4 goes at it sometimes if you're missing a lot of bites. So that's another advantage. But that's why I have different rod rests for different situations. Right, I know a lot of you have picked up on this because you've sent me loads of comments about it, and it was about the weight discrepancy from the live match vlog at Larford when I drew on peg 66 when I qualified for the Grandmasters. Yes, yeah, there was a weight discrepancy, and it does happen. I've not known it happen at Larford before, and I did spot it before the results were announced, but it didn't make any difference to the results. And the reason why I didn't mention it is purely because I just didn't want to kind of cause any sort of embarrassment. But obviously, because it's been on film and everyone's picked up on it, it's been flagged up anyway. But it's something that you really must pay attention to. If you're only having a single weigh, for example, when you're weighing your fish in, always check the scales yourself. Always check the scales. It's something that you just kind of got to get in the habit of. I didn't used to do it, and I had to get myself in the habit of it. It's peace of mind, and sometimes you'll be surprised that a lot of fishery owners and people that weigh in, especially if it's the anglers weighing in, they do like somebody else there, just as a bit of a witness, just to give them like a second opinion, especially if the scales are bouncing around a little bit. If you're having multiple weighs, where if you're like me, you tip some fish on the scales and then you've still got fish in your net, I don't stand there with the fish there, because you want to get them back in the water, and you've got to think about looking after your fish. I always go back to the water with the remaining fish in the net and hold the fish in the water whilst the first weigh gets weighed. If that has to happen, obviously you can't see the scales because you're by the water's edge. Just get a wingman, get somebody else to look at it. Obviously, on one of the matches, I think it was the last one I uploaded, my dad was there to have a look. But if you've got a bank runner or a teammate, just to keep an eye on it. It's something that it's such an easy thing to get wrong sometimes, especially when you're rushing to weigh in. This time of year, it's going dark. It's something to overlook that can be easily overlooked, but it's so important. And once those fish get tipped back in the water, that's it. You can't suddenly say, "Oh, hold on a minute, let's weigh them again," because it's too late. So it's just better for everybody to check them. That's all. So that was question 2. And question 3 was all about hook lengths, mainly starting hook lengths. There's no rule to it. It's a personal thing. Everybody might start with different lengths of hook length to kick off a match. For me, more often than not, it's 50 centimetres. That's what it is. If I'm missing bites on that, I'll reduce it. If I'm not getting bites, I'll tend to lengthen it. It really is as simple as that. Sometimes on rivers you might need a really long tail, but I'll always start on 50 centimetres as a rule, just because I think it's a nice distance, a nice length to start with, and it gives you a starting point to work from. Pretty simple really, that one, but that's a personal thing. I think a lot of other people, especially bream anglers, like to start on tails that are probably, I don't know, a metre long or whatever, especially the old school bream style that we all used to fish. But for me it's 50 centimetres. So thanks again for all those questions. Again, I've already got some for next week, so that's brilliant. I'm looking at trying to streamline the uploading process, and I am working on that around my obviously full-time job and stuff, and preparing for matches. I want to do at least 2 a week for you guys, but like I say, if I can streamline it a little bit more, then I shall. So there could even be 3 a week. The system's getting quicker, so and if you guys still watching, then obviously and the subjects are there, I'll just keep banging them on. So. And the last thing I just want to quickly mention that's come out this week is, I still get asked loads about this, England feeder team. Tommy's named the squad for the World Championships this year, and he's gone with the same team. I think this is partly why there hasn't been a big massive buzz about it on social media, purely because I don't think anyone's surprised that Tommy's gone with the exact same team that what he went with last year. I get asked loads about this, and it is a subject that it doesn't get discussed quite as much as it used to when it was in its infancy 5 years ago, 6 years ago. But yeah, I mean, that team's proved itself. It's proved itself on the bank and in the England camp as well, because obviously it's very important about how the lads work together on trips like that, and they're obviously doing a cracking job. They're still ranked #1 in the world, so why would Tommy change that? Quite simple as that. So it's all about Portugal in June. I'll be there for the World Championships, and we're really looking forward to it. Like I say, I haven't thought too much about it as yet, but we're just putting things putting plans in place now for logistics of getting out there, me having time off work and all that sort of stuff. So, but I am going to be there, and hopefully I'll have some footage from it for you. But like I say, that's not until June. It's been quite a big week for news, but let's just have a look at next weekend. Right, next weekend. It's obviously Friday tomorrow. Saturday is the February qualifier for the Boston Masters. Haven't qualified for that yet. There's only been one qualifier. I missed it by £1, as a lot of you know. So that is my #1 aim for this week. I'm going to hopefully qualify Saturday. I'm sticking my neck out. Yes, I'm going to do it. It's going to be hard. I'm going to fish for skimmers. That's it. Sunday, I promised my wingman Martinidis that we'll go back to Larford and fish the next Grand Masters qualifier. It's going to be on Spessy Lake. I've already qualified, as a lot of you know, so that's great. I don't really know how to fish it, I'll be honest with you. I've only fished it twice, both in the last 2 weeks, and done really, really well fishing for skimmers. And I kind of want to leave that now. I don't want to keep doing it to death. I think that approach is going to be right for the festival, even though it's 2 weeks away. So I'm going to do something different on Sunday. I'm not quite sure what yet. I might just fish for carp, or I might just fish the pole. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I'm going to be there for it Sunday, so I'll have some footage for you. And then on Monday, I've actually got a 3-day weekend, which is brilliant. On Monday, I'm going to be at Southfield Reservoir with Craig Butterfield, media manager from Matrix, and we're going to be out there just doing a bit of shooting. We're going to be shooting some videos and stuff, so yeah, really looking forward to that. Don't think I'll have any footage from that, maybe 1 or 2 clips and stuff, but some exciting new products coming, really, really exciting stuff. And yeah, it's going to be another full year, which is brilliant. And just to finish on one final thing while I'm on that, I went in Billy Clark's Fishing Tackle shop in Sheffield, cracking shop, got some great stock there. They're having a bit of a shuffle round as well today, which is great, just getting ready for the busy period. And I've just spotted the new Matrix catalogues in there as well, which has actually gone to print. I did share that there was an electronic version on the web, which I put a link to on one of my vlogs. It's actually in the shops now, the actual hard copy, so yeah, please check that out. Some great new products on the way. And that's really it. Wherever you're off to this weekend, I know I'm going to see some of you, because some of you have been watching the vlogs, and I really appreciate you doing that, so I'm going to see you this weekend. And like I say, I've got loads of stuff I want to bring you, and it's just a way that I've just got to find time to keep bringing it to you. So please keep watching. Have a great weekend, and those of you, I look forward to seeing you at the weekend. You guys who are going to be at Larford and Boston, I hope you bag up wherever you're off to. So have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.